You hit the crux of all that. This transfer of information or transfer of technology was never the intent of globalization. The outsourcing, as you rightly pointed out, was just to produce something cheaper en masse and in a more efficient way. It was never designed to empower the people, to become equals to the Western world, or to become equal to United States or Europe. I think you have given me a great segue here, to get into what I want to talk about. That flattening of the world was never meant to spread the information, because that is the only leverage the powerful, the ruler, has always had control of information. So why would he empower the people or enrich the people or to inform the people when the work can be done without giving out the full information? But somehow in this process, with the ease of access of information, the barriers have started coming down. The level of poverty in 2010 is not the same what the level of poverty was in 2006, not far ago, just 3-4 years ago. Even in places like, let's say, the poorest of the poorest, Haiti. Give us the example of Haiti. And I'm not talking about, just the level of luxury or the affluence in the Western world. Even in the developing world, the people, give us the example of China. 200 million people have been pulled out of poverty in the last year alone. Now look at in the last decade alone. Now 200 million in the last decade alone in China. This is possible only because the people who started having access to information of what the others can do. Not what they can do to begin with, what the others are doing already. Because of the internet, since 1995, people know what the people in the United States are wearing, what the people in Europe, what kind of cars they are driving in Europe, what kind of houses or luxury they live in the United States. So even exposure to this affluence, exposure, not basically living it, just the knowledge of access. Don't you remember in the third world countries, there are country clubs which are actually walled from outside. The people who live in complexes, for the affluence and for the wealthy, those complexes are walled because they don't want this information to go outside. If people know that this is the kind of luxury some people can live, they will start working towards that. In order to keep the people useful physically, they had to be fed only as much, that was okay for them to be physically strong enough to work for these. But as soon as you start transforming cognition, the understanding, the intellectual aspects of personalities, you're in trouble. The rich is in trouble. So control of information was the only way to keep those people ignorant, uninformed, illiterate. Even with the ease of access to the internet, that thing hasn't gone away. Now you have these mega corporations controlling the media. You control the information through them now. You control information through CNN. You control information through BBC. Make them look or make them sound trustworthy. Make them sound resourceful, so that the people would know that these are the only authentic sources of information. And then they can do what I call manufacturing of the opinions. They can come and manufacture. They can create your opinions. They are the opinion creating factories. They are the opinion creating corporations. They can create the desires that were not there before. They can create the needs that were not there before. Suddenly, the thing that you never needed becomes necessity because of these powerful tools of manipulating minds. So that was never a source. That was never the objective of empowering the people. But still, as I said, some empowerment, some enrichment is a cause wherein this roller coaster is now set in motion. If not today, maybe 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, because it's also exponential in its multiplicity. It's not explaining, from 1 to 2, 2 to 3 to 4. This knowledge or this information or literacy is exponential. It will grow from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16. 64, whatever it is. I'm not very good at math. So this is how this is going to expand as long as there are multiple sources of information. Now, just kind of review your own sources of information. Do you access information from alternative sources? Do you access information from uncommon sources? Or do you get your routine information, the news and all that, from just a selected few, or just a selected few portals? Did I answer your question? Did I concur with you what you were expecting?
I think for the most part, you touched on most of the issues that I think come up when you address the idea of globalization. That really there's a kind of twofold process that comes out of it. Thank you.
And that was just one of the missing points in Tom Friedman's book. Now, what I actually found out, and I tried to, when I reviewed that book, I noticed that he has mentioned all these items, or he has mentioned these events which have contributed to the flattening of the world, but he totally ignored the human element of that. He totally ignored the human flatteners, the people who were responsible, in this flattening of the world. Did he mention that actually this bringing down of the Berlin Wall actually started from what? Can you tell where it started from? Perestroika, Mikhail Gorbachev. Wasn't he, as a person, instrumental in creating the atmosphere of openness? Was it his glasnost, his perestroika, was the precursor or the initiator of this flattening of the world? Do you remember the era of perestroika and glasnost? Anyone familiar with the events of those of that time? Anyone here, from the Eastern Europe who's familiar with that policy?